two sample t-tests, there is independent two tests. In this case, there are two independent samples. The school wants to determine whether method A or method B is more effective in improving student exam scores. Two groups of students were taught using different methods. Their exam scores are recorded. Method A, a sample size of 10, these are the marks. Method B, again sample size 10, these are the marks. At 5% significance level, test whether there is a significant difference between the two teaching methods. First thing that you have to do is student serial number 1 to 10. Method A marks are here, method B marks are here. These are two different groups, not the same group before and after situation. Therefore, it is independent t-test. The t-value is obtained by the formula x1 bar minus x2 bar divided by square root of s1 square by n1 plus s2 square by n2. So we have to find out what is x1 bar, x2 bar, s1, s2, and n1, n2 are the sample size, which in this case 10 and 10. x1 bar is obtained by this formula. It is written here, average from here to here, B2 to B11. x2 bar is sample 2 mean is average from C2 to C11. And we get the numerator x1 bar minus x2 bar, that is fraction of x1 minus x2 bar. So 7.6. N1 is given 10, N2 is given 10. S1 is obtained by the formula STDEV dot S because we are talking about standard deviation of the sample. And the range is from B2 to B11. Similarly for the other one. Now we have to calculate the denominator here. First, let us calculate S1 square by N1. First, let us calculate S1, then S2, then find out S1 square by N1. S1 square means square of this divided by 10. 10 is in B10, B17. And this is S2 square by N2, that is B21 square of that divided by N2. Now to add up these two inside what is square root. Sum of the two is sum of this, that is given here, B2 plus B24 plus B23. Then you have to take the square root of that. Square root of 1.06 comes to 1.077. Calculated t is nothing but numerator by denominator. Numerator is here 7.6. So it is at B16. B16 by B26. So that comes 7.05, and that is the calculated t-value. And critical t-value, you can get it from the table or from the formula using t.inv.2t. And when you put that formula, it will ask you what is the probability. 0.05 because we're talking about 5% significance. Degrees of freedom. Now there are 10 in one sample, 10 in another sample. Total degrees of freedom is 10 plus 10 minus 2, that is 18, and you get 2.100. Critical t is here, calculated t is here, calculated t is more than the critical, therefore we reject the null hypothesis where we had put, initially should put it. Null hypothesis says no difference in mean scores, whether you teach using method 1A or method B, the mean of that will mean marks will remain same is a null hypothesis. Alternate is there is a difference. Mu1 is not equal to mu2. So in this case, we have to reject the null hypothesis because critical is less, calculated is more. So calculated is more than the critical, it falls in the rejection area. We do not want to go through this method. The other method to calculate the t-value or the critical value. Critical value, I already told it is this formula. Now, there is a formula called t dot test. So T dot test, then it asks for what is the array number 1 and what is the array number 2. Array number 1 is this, array number 2 is this. Tails equal to 2 because this can be, we are saying it is not equal to mu2. That means it can be less, it can be more. So both. And type 2, it stands for the kind of t-test paired equal to 1. If it is, yeah, it is it. 1 means two sample equal variance. 2 means paired equal to 1. Equal variance is 2 and 2 sample unequal variance is 3. So we choose 2 here. 2 sample equal variance. And then you don't get the t value, you get the p value. Now p value has to convert into t value using the formula t dot, and then probability you put F23 because that is the probability, and degrees of freedom is already calculated 18, and then you get 7.05. It's same as whatever we did by calculating so much. So if you remember this formula, well and good. You can skip all these steps and go directly to this one. Critical, we already done that. T inward dot 2t bracket 0.05 18. So calculated T is more than the critical, and therefore reject the null hypothesis.